All right, guys, good morning. Welcome to our morning note. Excuse me. This is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. Happy Tuesday. It's October 27th, 2020. We are officially now 7 days away from the election. All right, let's talk about market, shall we? Dow futures down 11 points after yesterday's bloodbath. Well, it was down about nearly 950 yesterday, but closed I think down by 660 or 640. Nasdaq up 36 points, 0.32%. S&P green, 0.10. Russell 2000 slightly red at 1600 at 0.09. Crude futures are up 0.16. Bitcoin continues to grind higher, 2.8% to the upside on the futures. Gold up 0.06. Silver up 0.29%. Euro dollar for my Forex people 1.182819 pips. Dollar yen 104.64 down 21 pips. Dollar index as highlighted is down 0.13% at 92.92, and the VIX is slightly green at 3256.31, again above the level that we were looking at, that 3150 level. So it's still above that. Again, it's still, as long as that's still up there, stocks are going to be red. All right, good morning. So this is going to be a quick morning note as we have our live trading session today. I hope you join me. It will be from 9:30 to 10:30. It'll be 1 hour. We're going to talk about markets as they go live, answer some questions, and see what we get out there. So for the most part, yesterday was pretty bloody. Comey Barrett, I believe, Comey Barrett was sworn in, will be sworn in, and was confirmed by the Senate. She's the new Supreme Court Justice, and the Senate will be adjourned for the actual, I guess, the actual session or term, let's just say, before the election. So stimulus is not going to happen before the election, which was pretty much expected. So the market is not exactly cheering it. But again, we had some earnings. AMD actually reported earnings early. They reported that they will be buying Xionex. Xionex, which I will probably butcher the name, in a $35 billion all stock deal that will intensify the data chip market battle. So good move from AMD. Again, they're expanding. They're really going against Intel. And right now the stock is basically flat pre-market. So if you played earnings on it, again, it's pretty much flat for the most part. So 35 billion. Let's go ahead and go over the numbers. 46 cents versus the 36 cents estimate. Revenue was better than expected. 2.8 billion versus 2.56 billion. Guides revenue 3 billion plus minus 100 million. Beats the 2.6 billion. Non-GAAP gross margin 45%. Raises fiscal year guidance for 2020. 41% revenue growth year over year. Affirms gross margin at 45%. Prior revenue growth was 32% year over year, and gross margin 45%. So really good numbers for AMD. They're actually expanding. Again, we know that they only really focused on gaming and such. So for the most part, AMD is now moving to data centers in direct competition with Intel. Intel, you could see, if I put it here to the right side, their stock performance versus AMD, you could see Intel has definitely been underperforming. So if I bring up a daily chart on both, you could see how AMD on the daily versus Intel. And I've been saying it before, I'd rather be an AMD and NVIDIA versus an Intel or a Micron. Those chip names. The only other chip name, but again, it's more for cell phones, if 5G is Qualcomm. But AMD and NVIDIA are the ones I own. I'll be looking to buy more AMD. I do like this report. And again, I love the growth of the 45% growth year over year on revenue. That's really, really solid in this market. So again, I really want to go ahead and add some more AMD. The question is, do I get a dip to go ahead and buy? Again, I want to buy on a nice dip. Let me just go over it one more time and see if I get that right, the 45%. No, it was 41% year over year revenue growth. The gross margin is 45, which is really solid. So AMD, love it. So I just got word here that Shopify brings commerce to TikTok. Pretty nice, pretty nice. So I went ahead and retweeted that for you. You can check that out at streetinsider.com. Shopify brings commerce to TikTok. We can see that pre-market here on Shopify. Nice bounce. Now testing the 200-day. So let's go ahead and talk about pre-market movers here before we begin for the day, and then I'll answer some questions before the live trading session. So it won't be a long one. All right, so AMD is down slightly, about 0.5%. Xilinx, where they're going to buy for all cash deal, up about 13%. Insignia up 47%, but they're penny stock. Dow Jones movers, again, the Dow is slightly red, actually green now. Apple up 0.28%, Intel down 1.5%, obviously. Boeing down 0.21%, Microsoft up 0.59%. They report, I believe, tomorrow. Caterpillar reported as well. They're down 2.33%. They halted share repurchasing for the rest of the year. Merck up 1.15%. Cisco up 0.37%. Chevron up slightly. JP Morgan down slightly. So those are some of the numbers. Salesforce.com up 0.83%. So the NASDAQ is definitely outperforming the indices. Looking at the NASDAQ, we could see Comcast slightly green, Facebook up 0.5%, Nvidia up 0.78%, Starbucks up 0.27%. Tesla slightly flat for the most part, slightly red. And S&P movers, General Electric about 0.20%, American Airlines 0.34%. Again, a little slight bounce. HOG, which is Harley Davidson, up 9.41%. They beat their shipment numbers as they reported today. So I'm going to be watching as when we have the actual live trading session, we can start seeing what's moving and shaking. See if we get a trade going. So that's where we are. So Shopify is on the move. It's an expensive one, mind you, so kind of difficult to trade. Good morning. What do you think about PayPal? Love PayPal long term. Love them. I own them. So yes. Thoughts on DAL's salvage? No. I'm not salvaging DAL. Right at support. We should be able to bounce. Again, if today will be a very important day, if we cannot take over the 100-day moving average, then we could see where we go. But if you feel uncomfortable holding it, by all means close it. I have AMD calls pre-market. It got up to 84.45. It's not down to recover. Yeah, we got to see exactly the morning moves. Again, when all the liquidity comes in, all the buys or all the sells. So again, we're right at the 200-day. We should see if we get that continuation back to the upside. There is a gap to fill on AMD. You can see it's right here at 86.68. Actually, kind of filled with that wick. So that could be probably invalidated. Why intrastate futures date rate off? I don't know what you mean, intrastate futures. Bought that AMD 3-point pre-market. Nice. Looking at Twitter. Okay, Twitter. Looking at it as well. Again, it's right near the 50-day. Again, we do have earnings coming up. Spotify calls. I own Spotify the stock, but I don't know Spotify the actual option. So again, I'd have to see the volume. Pins 1030, 53.5 calls. Again, you're playing the earnings they actually report this week. So again, 53.5 is pretty close. I'm bullish on pins. So again, you're playing earnings. That's very, very, very risky. I have target 165 November 20 call. Was saying it's break even for a bit. Now I had a dip yesterday. The last couple of days down 50%. So you see coming back to over 162. Yeah, yesterday a lot of things took a hit. So again, that does hurt your premiums for the most part. But you have the 165 for November 20th. So you got plenty of time. You got what, another 3 weeks, if anything. So it's really up to you if you want to hold it. If you feel the pressure and you feel like you should just close out, that's completely fine. Again, one day does not a market make, but you could see since Tuesday it's been falling. So I like target long term. It may be time to cut bait on that trade. Good morning, boss. How do you feel about Facebook calls? Facebook calls I do like, but again, ahead of earnings, you need to be careful. Thoughts on UPS? UPS logistics, industrials have been pretty solidly strong. Again, for the most part, guys, everything was basically red yesterday, unless you were Apple, Zoom, or Amazon for the most part. But again, UPS took a big dip yesterday, and there's actually a gap to fill here at 172. We should be able to fill that today. I'm expecting a bounce. So again, we should probably get to around 172. Let's see, high SPY. Okay, high, I don't know what you mean by high SPY. What do you want me to look at SPY? Tesla for a long term. Yes, definitely love Tesla long term. Long Microsoft 210 and below. I'm thinking it's great support. I can't get this chart posted though. Well, I love Microsoft long term. It's one of my larger positions. So I agree with you 100%. Just need to get over this 200-day, which is 217. Thoughts on ENPH calls? I have no idea what ENPH is. ENPH, looking at it here, we're right at the 50-day. The 100 and the 200 are basically almost crossing each other. 107.75 is your level. I don't know if you want me to look at calls above the 105 area. Yeah, if you break 107.75. AAA, I don't even know what AAA is. I'm assuming that's probably AAL. QQQ, looking at Qs here, again, still right at the 50-day moving average pre-market. Again, you still need a little room to go, with 285.55 is a big level to break. I have an alert at 287.83. Again, we do have earnings this week, so be very careful. First, I think DKNG is oversold. Looks like a good time to buy in for long term. I do own DKNG, but I will wait for the election because there is a lot of, there's some election, there's some mandates on some ballots in some states regarding sportsbook gambling. So I definitely want to wait for that before I do anything with DKNG. I do own it long term anyways. What are entry for calls for Apple? Well, Apple reports this week, so don't expect any kind of entry on that. You shouldn't. You're right at the 50-day. I would say 117.31. Good entry price for Square. I bought some yesterday, so I definitely had a good price. I forget what price I bought in. I'd have to look in my investment club, guys. Let's see. I thought I wrote this down. I bought some at 167.42 on Square yesterday. So not a bad buy, almost right at the bottom. You said a live trading date yet? Yeah, it's at 9:30 today. Live trading is today. Do you think social media will move with Facebook earnings? I do. If you look at space, please. Okay, what am I looking at? I do own the stock long term. Nothing has really changed. What price do you think to add Microsoft to the portfolio? I think Microsoft would be great after earnings if you want to just buy some more. I'll probably be buying some more Microsoft depending on their earnings. What are all the straight lines in the graph? You mean the Fibonacci retracement levels. What did you all buy through yesterday's drop? I just said I bought Square. I bought Square at 167.42. If you're interested in knowing what I buy, then you need to join our investment club, which is in our website, GARCapitalFX.com. Square and Adobe dropped insane yesterday. They did. Everything dropped yesterday. Thoughts on PG? I do like Procter & Gamble, but again, you're not going to get tons of growth. It's a consumer staple, and the actual price to earnings is pretty high for what you're getting. You're not getting insane growth either. Again, you see in the year chart, it's nice, 124 to 141 basically, but I mean, I think it's a little overextended. Again, it's a safe bet to own, safe stock to own. That's it. But you're not going to get tremendous growth out of it. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end it here. So at 9:25, I'll get back on and we'll do our live trading session that'll last for an hour. So I got to prep for that. Have a great rest of your day, guys. We'll catch you guys in about 10 minutes.